I want to welcome you to the December 7th episode of Laid Back History's 2023 Advent Calendar. And today we've got a quick little story that I just thought was interesting that I came across. And it's about a gentleman, his name was Colonel John G. Chambers. Colonel Chambers was part of the Western Pennsylvania militia, but he did participate in the War of 1812 up in Erie. And this actually, in 1812, this is kind of taking place. Well, 1812 to 1815. Apparently, Colonel Chambers had come up with an idea for a repeating flintlock. Now, there had been this idea of repeating muskets and flintlocks, what probably as early as the early 1700s. What was the Puckle gun? What was it? Was it John Puckle? I don't remember his first name. But he had come up with this idea of a rotating cylinder that could fire, I think it was 8 times, something like that. And in fact, you know what, now that I think about it, I believe that they said that it could fire like 60 times in 8 minutes. But it was an idea of a rotating cylinder. So they had been around, but the Puckle gun was big. It was a big thing, had a big cylinder on it. What Chambers invented was a repeating flintlock that was no bigger than the standard size of a flintlock. So it was apparently similar weight, similar length. It had a single barrel, and he employed a blacksmith from down in Amwell Township. Unfortunately, we don't know the name, but he invented this in 1812. And sent a letter to the Pennsylvania Senate. So, in 1815, he was invited to Senate Hill, in the capital, to Pennsylvania capital, Harrisburg, and he was invited to do a presentation of his gun. And he did the presentation. It was decided that it was what was the exact wording? Effective in stopping an enemy, an enemy. And what it did was it fired 8 times. Now, unfortunately, we don't know what it looked like. We don't know exactly how it worked. But from what we can tell, it did have a rotating cylinder. So it was kind of like a revolving, musket. And 2 descriptions. There's one description that says that you pulled the trigger and it would fire, at one pull of the trigger, it would fire 8 times with a sufficient amount of time in between firing to re-aim. Then another description says that you pull the trigger each time for it to go off. So we're not exactly sure what it looked like, but all the way back in 1812, you have this colonel from Amwell Township that has a repeating flintlock that could fire 8 times, 8 times with either one trigger pull or at least 8 times before reloading. So what it said was that to reload it, this is why we're pretty sure that it had rotating cylinder, because it did say that to reload it, you could swap out cylinders. So it makes us think that it was probably a rotating cylinder, almost like a revolver. So there you go. All the way back in 1812, Colonel John G. Chambers of Amwell Township, inventing a revolving or a repeating flintlock. So, apparently didn't go any further than his presentation on Senate Hill, but at least he got to present it. So that's it. Short little story for the episode today. And, I will see you tomorrow for the next episode, the December 8th episode of Laid Back History's 2023 Advent Calendar.